And with the Roe v. Wade decision coming down today, we wanted to take a look back at the timeline of the legislation and how it got to this point. 23 ABC's Brianna Willis explains the history of the law.
Nearly 50 years ago, the United States Supreme Court voted in favor of a ruling that allowed women the right to have a legal abortion. It's a law that our 23 ABC political analyst says gave a passage for women to live their lives the way they wanted to, with or without a child.
We do know that that abortion access and reproductive rights access has definitely allowed women an opportunity to engage in activities that otherwise were reserved for just men.
Roe v. Wade was a landmark case decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1973, which legalized abortion. The case came down to one central question: does the Constitution recognize a pregnant person's right to have an abortion? In 1969, Norma McCorvey, the Texas resident named Jane Roe in the case for privacy, was denied access to abortion because her pregnancy did not pose a medical risk to her life. And during this time, it was a crime in Texas and other states to have an abortion unless the patient would die without it. Then a group of Texas lawmakers came together to overturn abortion bans, and the case went to the Supreme Court. And on January 22, 1973, Roe won. 7 of the 9 justices agreed a clause in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution protects the rights on a person's choice to terminate their pregnancy. They used the 3 trimesters of pregnancy as a framework for the law. In the first trimester, governments could not prohibit a woman from choosing to have an abortion as long as a doctor conducted it. In the second trimester, governments could enact medical regulations on abortions as long as they were in favor of protecting the woman's health. And in the third trimester, governments could legally prohibit all abortions unless the procedure was necessary to protect the mother's life or health. 23 ABC political analyst Ivy Cargyle says the approval of this law has given women more opportunities.
We have more women in the workforce. We have more women in, going to college, receiving bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, JDs, and the like. And then therefore we see more women in, as attorneys, as medical doctors, as PhDs, as university professors, etc. So we know that economically it has given women the independence to make decisions for themselves and to be able to take journeys that perhaps they would not have been able to take had they had a child or children.
But states including Alabama, Arizona, Michigan, and Texas, among others, have already had abortion restrictions in place prior to Roe v. Wade that was never removed. According to this chart from the Guttmacher Institute, a research organization that focuses on sexual and reproductive health, in 2021, more states across the country enacted abortion restrictions than in any year since Roe v. Wade was passed in 1973. Now, with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, 26 states are likely to follow suit. Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wyoming, and Mississippi have trigger laws in place that are designed to take effect automatically if Roe v. Wade no longer applies. And Cargyle says she hopes these states are providing the support that is necessary when it comes to raising children.
I do think that in these 26 states that are looking to restrict rights, I hope that the counter to these restrictions is more access and more resources towards accessible childcare, towards making sure that there are more educational avenues for young children, more access to TK, more access to pre-K, and make it affordable. So if you are going to be making people who identify as women go through these unwanted pregnancies, that therefore the state, because the state is making this decision, that the counter is that they're also providing the services that are going to be necessary for these children to then, come out into the world.
Brianna Willis, 23 ABC News, connecting you.